All right,
And
well,
Tacoma John said, "Don't miss their super chat from the last John. You owe him."
let me go get you, Tacoma. Just
Yeah, yeah,
whatever
yeah.
you had on that,
I couldn't
Tacoma,
see
we
it.
got you. Yeah, we'll get you. That was a banger, man. So because I'm mobile,
Yeah,
somebody
yeah. I already know.
a call had pushed through and then it messed the audio up. So sorry about
Yep.
that, y'all. But
No, you're all good, buddy.
we'll let some people get back in here. But Akoye, you were locked in on how we need to
I'm about to
stop
share it
these.
again.
Okay, cool.
Yep, I'm about
Yeah,
to share it
yeah, yeah,
again.
yeah,
Boom. I was going. I was like, yo, you know, and then if you put the aliens come out the bushes, and then, you know what I'm saying? I
Let me
was
tell
just
you
like,
something,
red
man.
team go. You know what I'm saying?
Let me tell you something. I love doing these because I think fans can watch now knowing what they're looking at, and I think that's the biggest thing in football. It does take time because your
Yeah,
eyes have to be trained and know what you're looking at and what's
yeah,
coming behind it. But I want fans to be educated, like be a fan because everybody's a fan. The coach is a fan. If you're not a player, you're a fan of the game.
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
level.
That's
It's
a
a level
fact.
to it. Even if you're an owner, Jerry Jones is the
Right.
biggest fan in the world.
Fact.
Um, so Corey, how do we stop this Eagles offense with our team? And what do you expect?
As I said, I was talking about the usage of, I don't know how much of you heard, but the difference was Micah not being in the middle of the field over the last two games.
Okay.
We're a good defense with Micah on the edge, is what I was saying, but we're a great defense with him in the middle of the field because we need to stop trying to outsmart the opponents by way of figuring out what they want to do or stopping some of the things they want to do and put the focus on making them try to stop us. Because here's the thing, you either acting or you're reacting. Okay. When you're reacting, you're always going to be slower because you're reacting to someone else's motion or someone else's force. When you're forcing action, then they have to react to you. And when you put Micah in the middle of the field, you force offenses to have to respond a certain way, regardless of what they called, regardless of what they're trying to do, they still have to react to what you're doing. And that becomes the focal point rather than, hey, he's lined up on the edge. We're going to execute our play as promised. Plus, I don't like Micah Parsons setting edges and playing contain anyway. When you have guys that can play contain against the Eagles, like a Chauncey and a D Law or a Sam Williams, even Sam Williams doesn't do it though. Sam Williams will go get you too. He's a go get you type of guy, and so is Fowler. But guys like Chauncey, Osa, D Law, they don't have a problem with squeezing the pocket like you saw Bosa and Chase Young doing. That's what you need
Right.
to do. But when you do that, the reason they kept getting those sacks up the middle or in that tunnel in the A gap is because they had Fred Warner and those defensive tackles rolling into the middle of the field, waiting for him to run right up that funnel to them. And
Right.
if we do that, because running quarterbacks do give us a problem because we keep Micah Parsons on the edge. If you look at the Arizona game, that's all you need to see. Arizona, beginning of the game, Dobbs got off on like a 45-yard run because we had Micah on the edge. Micah in the
Right.
middle of the field, you can use more of his skills, his pursuit angles, and you also put him on mismatches against your guards and your
I like
centers
that.
who
Yeah.
cannot who can't deal with him. I don't care if you're Kelsey. Kelsey can't deal with Micah Parsons in the middle of the field. And I think if
No.
you force into action that way, and we stop being so stubborn with some of the personnel packages, like you understand, hey, we know who covers who better. Why are we not switching based on the personnel? You know what I mean? If you
Yeah.
know that Gilly is better against big receivers, then these games in particular, you just say, hey, you're going to go in and race AJ this game, just like we put him on DK last game. Stop
It
being
stops.
stubborn in those
Yeah.
situations. Pit people where they're best suited, not try to be stubborn or try to not step on people's toes. It's about what makes us the best in each situation, not about who's going to cry about not being on the field or not being utilized in certain situations. Because even last game you saw, when we're going up against a dynamic receiver core, just like the Eagles are, you want to make sure you have your cover guys out there. That's why I didn't mind Bell playing as much. This is a Bell game as well. You want Bell out there because he's better in space, has better side to side movement. But you also want guys like Izzy on the field. You want guys like Wanye on the field because
Man,
this isn't a run stop game. A
you
run
took
stop
my
game, you
point,
would see
man.
Wilson, you would see Kurtz. That's fine. When you're dealing with a team that's a little tougher, when you're playing a team like San Fran, you might want to put Kurtz and Wilson out there a little bit more because they're actually going to play a little bit more physical. But I look at Wanye and I look at Izzy as guys that are playmakers in the middle of the field And I think that to have those guys just sitting there and not utilize them, to me, is the only knock, if there is one, that I have on Dan Quinn. Personnel usage to me doesn't make a lot of sense. We keep going big nickel, not because we want to play nickel. We go big nickel because there's only certain formations that guys like Curse can play in. And I'm not trying to hate on Curse. I like Curse a lot. But, somebody has to say that, though. When we
Yeah,
go big, those guys being athletic back there allows them to get under the passing lanes and get into the passing lanes as well. So it's still not a mismatch. So when I said that, when you look at any game that we played this year,
yeah,
when Micah Parsons is a force and we look unbeatable almost, it's usually, unless we're playing a bad team, it's usually when he's in the middle of the field. So putting him in the middle of the field is what's necessary, I think, to change what we're doing up front. And then on the back end, stop being so stubborn with your personnel packages. Stop saying, hey, just because I want Curse out here on the field or he's a leader in the locker room, we're going to put him in there in every situation or have him on the field with Wanye instead of replacing him with Wanye. You know what I'm saying? Wanye should be
yeah.
replacing him in certain situations. Izzy should be replacing Wilson in certain situations, or even playing nickel and replacing J. Lou in certain situations, depending on what's out there. Like when you see Julio Jones in the slot, you should have Izzy in the slot on Julio
For the
Jones.
life of me, I just don't know why he hasn't been used more. I know that
I think he really
they
got in the
love his.
doghouse and they left him there.
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, there's a guy who played in the playoff game against San Francisco well.
I mean, that's
Um,
the only explanation that makes sense. If you see
it
what the
it,
way he
it, it,
played in
it,
the
make,
playoffs and to
it
not
makes
play at all now,
absolutely
it
it
doesn't
makes
make sense.
absolutely no sense because I mean the guy's a good football player. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, can everybody give us a thumbs up? I don't know if it maybe glitched
They
out
said
for a
we
second.
back. They said we
Okay,
back.
cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just and then as far as Curse, I think Curse is on borrowed time.
Yeah.
It's clear that Wanye just has better. He's just a better athlete at
Curse
this
is
point in
hurt
his
right
career.
now, and I don't even want to say that Curse can't play. Curse, we won't know what he can do, but I think the fact that he knows that if he sits down for the allotted time that he really needs to recover his back, he won't get his job back. So he's forcing himself to play, but right now it's hurting the team because Curse is not running the way Curse is accustomed to running.
That's the problem. I mean, he's not closing distances. He's
Yeah,
not closing angles. I mean, it was one
yeah.
play. I'm like, oh, ooh,
He don't
look
even want to hit
slow.
right now. He don't want to hit right now.
Yeah, and unfortunately, on this team and on great teams, that's only gonna last for so long before they say, they're gonna call you and say, "Listen, Curtis, we love you, but we got to sit you down." Unfortunately, for Awanya and Tua did actually see the interview. So first of all, I saw two things. If you want to follow Akoye Media, I was gonna get to this at the end of the show, but
Mm-hmm.
he's great. It's at Akoye Media on Twitter. And on YouTube. I mean, this
Yeah,
guy does this for breakfast. And then Two I did a great interview on DallasCowboys.com. She's in the comments right now. She's a goat, and she's right. I think
right,
that YA probably has no problem waiting his turn because he's going to be
right,
on this team because he just plays football the right way. He
right.
plays football the right way. The problem is you need him now, and you're
Yeah,
going to need him down the road when you see San Fran because you need those type of guys and that type of attitude
yeah.
playing against those. Like you can't beat. Put it like this: you can't beat a San Fran, and even Philly. Philly's gonna play good football. They'll play us tough. They're gonna play us tough.
Right.
You can't beat these type teams doing people favors. You gotta have the right personnel in
You
there.
got to put your guys out there, man. Let them run, let them rip. You know what I mean? And,
Yeah,
and stress out this offense. Make them deal with what we are, and stop trying to be so multi with everything. I believe in being a multi defense when you're trying to figure out what works, and then once you figure out what your bread and butter is, you hone in on that and you throw some wrinkles in there only to counter yourself. Sometimes we outsmart ourselves by trying to do a little bit too much, and they'll catch us in a look where they can expose us here. Like you'll see a J. Lou on a tight end, like we saw in that first game against Goddard. Like, why are we doing those in those situations? You know what I mean? Put the guys on the guys that are meant to stop those guys and let them do their job. And if they fail at that, if you fail at what you do best, or if a team beats you at what you do best, I can take that. But if you beat
yeah,
me because you catch me in a look that I had no business in, or you catch me doing something that's out of my character, then I gotta be mad at myself. You know what I mean? I
yeah,
gotta be mad at myself for that. And I was mad at the way we handled the first Eagles game, because I think we could have made it a lot easier on ourselves if we gave them the same version that we've given other teams. Like, hey, go after him from the middle of the field with Micah Parsons, force those guys to deal with him from the A gap. And the refs could help you by calling some holds there, when you actually do it, because they did hold quite a bit. But I think that's where we're best with Micah Parsons off ball, where you don't quite know what he's doing. Make Hurts and those guys have to figure out what he's doing, and also play a little bit more zone, because we're playing zone very loose when we do it. And if we can tighten those windows up a little bit in those zones and play a little bit more zone, then we could cause a lot of problems for Hurts, because Hurts throwing into those windows, into those zone pockets, hasn't been as great as he is when he knows everyone's back is to him. So they have a lot of man beater plays in this offensive scheme. They don't have a lot of things I've seen that can stop that drop 7 and drop 8 when you're doing that cloud coverage on him. He pretty much holds the ball and tries to direct traffic, but the defense can see where he's directing because they're all staring at
Yeah.
him. So it's like, point to the left. All right, we all going left. Point to the right. We all going right. So
Yeah.
that's where he runs into trouble. And if he's not on time, which he very rarely is on time with his feet in the pocket, that causes problems, and that's where a lot of those interceptions are starting to come from this season.
Yeah, it's just he's been a tick off. They won games, but I can't stress this enough. When your offense starts getting stale and then you run into a good DC or a good defensive team that can run, it starts to get tricky. Guys, I just can't thank Akoye enough for joining the channel. Like I said, I just wanted to make sure that I got some content up. I hit Akoye. Yeah, I was just gonna ask you to spell your name, Akoye. He put it in the
He
chat.
just asked me to spell it. Yeah, put it in there for him.
Akoye, you have any closing thoughts on this game? One thing we can't do. I feel good, man. But I just,
you can't give up the big play. You give up big plays, it's going to be a long day. We did that last time we played them. We gave up that big play to Adams, and that wound up being the difference maker. And the other thing is, if there is one, it would be take advantage of your opportunities, because the Eagles gave us 3 opportunities to change that game, and we didn't take advantage of them. That big play and those 3 fumbles. You have to get one of those fumbles. They don't win that game. Just one. Just take the ball away one time. They don't win that game. If you turn this into an even Steven game, or we're playing soft the entire first half and we let them hang in there too long, that's a problem. You have to. What I saw in San Fran, and the difference between what they did and what we did, is San Fran saw weakness and they hit the gas and kept their foot on their necks, and they went right at them. Physically went at them. They didn't throw any bombs. They were throwing tunnel screens and slants, and Debo was just smacking people and sprinting with everything he had to the line of the game, to the end zone. So you have to play with that type of tenacity offensively, but defensively, take those opportunities. Sam Williams forced a fumble. Wilson forced a fumble. Or I think it was Hooker, matter of fact, forced a fumble. And then Swift just dropped the ball because he saw Micah Parsons, and that was a fumble. We got to get the ball. We have to get the ball back to this offense. And with Dak playing the way he's playing, and we already saw what he can do to this Eagles secondary, if you give him 1 or 2 more possessions than the Eagles have, this game ain't close. We just got to do what we do best and give the ball. There's no point in being a team that has a high turnover ratio, but we don't get turnovers in big games. We got to get turnovers in big games. We need to get the ball back to this offense in big games. Can't just be we get turnovers against bum-ass teams. We got to get turnovers when it counts against good teams. And we had them in the Eagles game. They just had the luck of the bounce on their side. But if we're able to do that, I don't think this game is close. I don't think they can keep up with us offensively if we're just keeping everything in front of them. And we already showed with, I think, a faulty scheme, we already showed we can limit their receivers, and they don't run the ball very well right now. Swift is still hurting from Lenore knocking the shit out of him too. So those guys, and Gainwell as well. Gainwell was getting thrown all over the place by Greenlaw before Greenlaw got thrown out the game. So they feeling it right now, all of them. Even Hurst is feeling it. Hurst left the game with a concussion. So we got to go out there, apply pressure, be physical, and hope that we can finish those guys off.
Yeah, nah. And Tacoma, what was your super chat, man? I know it was on the last channel. I'm sorry, on the last live. I'm sorry. I just want to thank you, man, for that super chat, Tacoma. And guys, I think Akoye said that for me, guys, it's gonna be don't turn the ball over. I think the Phillies pass rush is completely slowed down. All right, Terrence Steele has to have a better game. We didn't talk much about the offense. I'm going to do that on Thursday. Don't turn the ball over. Terrence Steele has to have a better game. But I think that an underrated thing, and I'm not going to get too far into the weeds on attacking this defense, but Dallas has to run the ball. You can run the ball on these guys. What type of runs? San Fran did a great job stretching the edge, keeping those fat boys on the field. Hey, Jordan Davis, if you get 3 and out, Jordan Davis is great. When he has to play throughout the drive, he's not coming off the ball the same.
Right.
He's not creasing. Same with Jalen Carter. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Jalen Carter
right at him is what works.
Yeah. He's getting reached. Oh, he's getting double teamed. Oh, he's not playing that double team right. Now running lanes start to open up. Right. So you can run the ball on these guys. I know everybody thinks that they're the best team line in the world.
Cox is the guy that's hard to run against. Cox actually handles run very well. So does Sweat. They're very stout against the run, those guys. And believe it or not, Smith too. Smith, the kid that they drafted, number 3. He's pretty good against the run as well. I like what they do against the run when they're out there. But you could pick your spots against both Jordan and Carter. Like you said, Jordan, if you're getting him going left to right, you know what I mean? You're running some misdirection or some counters, you can catch him and trap him, and not try to use, strength and will against him because he's strong as hell. You can't run right at him. And Carter, you peel him off with some double teams, and I've seen that his balance and his leverage isn't quite right in those situations. Although he still will catch you and get you some splash plays. Like I said, I compared him to Aaron Donald in the draft, and that's why, because just like Aaron Donald will slash into the backfield and stop the run sometimes with some splash plays on his way to the quarterback. When you run at him for a game, you have more success than not. He'll get you 3 or 4 splash plays, and like he played us, he got 2 sacks and a tackle for loss. But when you look at the totality of what we were able to do against him, we did very well against Aaron Donald. I think Tyler Smith did very well against him as well. So I think this will be another look at like that. It will look like that in this game. Yeah, they look beat up.
They look beat up, man. So again, Akoye, thank you so much for joining, man. I want to get to Tacoma John real quick. He said, "Thank you for this super chat." Tacoma, he said, "Hey, just maintain your gaps." And Akoye spoke to that. Take Jalen off his first read, and I think he'll be fine. If you guys, the other link that we just had on, Akoye gave, and you'll be on with Scott tomorrow, right? In the morning?
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah, so I know he'll even have it cut up even more. I just want to, real quick, this video was brought to you guys by the Real Insurance Lady. All your insurance needs. Make sure you guys check them out. I'm going to drop a link in the description box. They've been sponsoring the channel. They've been doing a great job in helping me out, so I appreciate that. Akoye Media, can we give a fire emoji for Akoye Media, please?
Thank you.
Please. We're not leaving. Get a fire emoji. And Akoye, if you can, type your stuff in again so they can make sure that they follow you. Just, man, outstanding work. And look for more of this as we get into real football, as Brandon Cooks was saying, and as Tyler Smith, Zach Martin was saying, in November football, it's a little different. As we get to real football, we got to be better. And, hey, we'll be better even with our content. We'll make sure that we hit y'all up. So, it's your boy Foots. Akoye, thank you for joining.
Appreciate you.
Peace.
Peace.